Doug Mountjoy, one of Wales's greatest ever snooker players, has died at the age of 78. A well-known amateur snooker player around the clubs in Wales, but his career as a minor hindered any thoughts of pursuing his snooker dreams. On winning the 1976 amateur title, he decided to take the plunge and turn pro. And with a late call-up to the 1977 Masters, he was able to see his dream become a reality.
Great shot. A great shot by Mountjoy.
And what a start he made, beating compatriot Ray Reardon to win the title.
Doug was, in many ways, I think, the father of the modern day game, and I say that because at one stage it seemed like it was a closed shop and nobody could wrestle the game away from the top players of that era. And Doug was, an amateur and decided to turn professional and make the jump. He was my hero because he was a young player like myself, it felt, and he was the player that then beat Ray Reardon. He was a great guy, great laugh, always had a smile on his face, massive broad shoulders that filled up the room, and of course his big red frilly shirt. We'll all miss him.
One of just 6 Welshmen to reach a World Championship final in 1981, he fell at the last hurdle when Steve Davis captured the first of his world titles. But defeats were never a moment for Doug to be disheartened, and his larger-than-life character lit up the sport.
Well, Doug was a real Valleys man, always was, and I'll never forget I played him when he first turned professional. 1976 it was. I went down to Abersachen, British Legion, and had an exhibition against Doug, and we became good friends, and I had a couple of battles with him at the Crucible in the World Championship. I think it was 1 each, but I'll never forget, it's not far off 40 years ago. Terry Griffiths, Doug Mountjoy, myself, and all the families, 12 of us, headed off to Disneyland in America. We had the most fantastic 2 weeks holiday, and Doug was a real character and was always terrific to be in his company. And Doug will be sadly missed, and lots of love to Yvette, his daughter.
He liked a pint, Doug. We had a bit of fun when we was travelling, and he had his nice frilly shirts, and he was always smartly dressed, and he was just a top battler for me. He was always one of them players that, he was such a tough nut to crack and always give it 100%, the sport and me will surely miss him.
Known as much for his frilly shirts as his snooker success, his finest moment would come late in his career when he beat a young Stephen Hendry to win the 1988 UK Championship final.
When I heard I was playing Doug Mountjoy in the final, I thought, well, that's going to be easy. I'm going to win my UK Championship. But then he just played like God. He was getting coached by Frank Callan. I think he had 3 centuries in a row at one stage. It was just, he just played incredible snooker. Every time I met, just a lovely, lovely man, and be very sadly missed. Rest in peace, Doug.
A big winner, a big character, a true Welsh legend of the game. Some lovely tributes there to Doug Mountjoy, and our thoughts are with his family and friends at this sad time. So a warm welcome to the Celtic Manor. Dominic Dale is back with us. Welcome again, Dominic, good to see you. And also this year, a warm welcome to Ken Doherty. Great to have you, Ken, as part of our lineup in 2021. Lovely to hear from some real legends of the game there about Doug Mountjoy. He was a real icon.
He was a real icon, very proud Welshman, great character. I grew up images watching Doug Mountjoy, during the late 70s and, of course, the 80s. He was a gregarious sort of character, very famous for his, of course, the frilly shorts, the brown suit, and the big velvet diggy bows. But he had a wonderful cue action. He was a really tough match player, as Jimmy White said there. He had a wonderful cue action. And no one remembers better than when he played and how well he played in that UK Championship against Stephen Hendry, beating him in the final. He was a wonderful man and a great sportsman indeed to boot as well.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he, Dominic? Everyone talks about the frilly shirts, the personality. What are your memories?
Well, as a young boy, I used to watch Doug Mountjoy playing on the television many times. One of the best dressed gentlemen this game's ever seen, and a lovely man. I had many chats with him. Great honour for me to say I've played him about 3 or 4 times in my earlier days. And yeah, back in that golden era when they used to wear these massive great bow ties that looked like a giant moth had got you by the throat. And, you know, just a lovely man, and who'd be sadly missed, certainly by me and by millions of people.
Absolutely.
I'd like to say.
He certainly will. And before play got underway this morning, there was a minute's silence for Doug Mountjoy in the arena here at Celtic Manor. And it was interesting earlier on, Ken, to hear Ray Reardon on the radio giving a little tribute and saying, well, look, he beat me in one of those big tournaments.
Yeah.
So he must have been a good player, because not many people did that.
Yeah, he did. And of course, as Steve said, he broke through. He broke the mould of the likes of Reardon and Spencer. And of course, you had Rex Williams, John Pullman. You know, so he broke the mould. He was a new breed, and he was very, very successful. He won that, of course, that Masters down in Wembley, and yeah, but he just played with a lovely panache, hadn't he? He had a great, wonderful sort of graceful player around the table. He had a lovely sort of cue action, as I said, and he just played with a lot of dignity, a lot of grace, and a lot of class.
And talking of big characters, if you like, from that golden era of snooker, it's going to be very sad for us this year to be without our good friend and colleague Willie Thorne, who sadly passed away at the age of 66 last summer. Of course, a memorable character of the game and a BBC pundit for many years. We're going to miss him, Dom.
Absolutely. Another gentleman that I've played in my earlier days as a pro, commentated with Willie many times, including here, of course, at the Welsh Open. And, you know, had a real showbiz personality, Willie Thorne. Great in exhibitions, had a great array of trick shots to play and entertain the crowd with his jokes. He's a fantastic, fun-loving guy.
Yeah, he certainly was. OK.